Try to reconnect real quick. What's it looking like, Rock? We chilling? We good? I know it's trying to reconnect. It is kind of skippy. Shalom, shalom. Test, test. Let me see what it's looking like. Shalom, shalom. I'm gonna shoot out another test, Rock. Definitely skipping. I think I'm back on green, Rock. Erskine Littleton, one love, man. Every time I see you, it gives me hope. You know what I mean? One love to Erskine Littleton. Always been a true supporter of the UPK. Connection issues, wilding right now. Let's see if the Lord will be. Let's see if the Lord can send them angels to fight that internet demon. You know what I mean? I truly believe there is an internet demon out there that particularly attacks the UPK. Anytime we have classes, they're going to try to screw up the production. I don't know. Give me your thoughts on that. What do y'all think? You think there's a demon that goes through the airwaves? Shalom, shalom, Erskine. All right, let me know, Erskine. Actually, you too. If you watching the production right now, let me know if this joint is skipping right now. I think it is about the second week in a row where my internet connection has been acting a little funny. Let me know if this bad boy is skipping. I got a very important topic today. I was going to talk about the book of Tobit. I believe I was talking to Captain Zakar about a personal issue that I was going through, and we brought up that the demon Asmodeus in regards to my, personal affairs. But we had brought that demon up, and it's funny because I said one day I'm gonna do a class on this, and now we got this WAP movement going on. I believe at this point they got WAP challenges, right? It took me a while to figure out what that was. I mean, low key, I wasn't trying to ask anybody. Like I was supposed to know what WAP meant, right? And anytime you got, these acronyms, these slang acronyms that come out, you kind of want to be hip to it. You know what I mean? You kind of want to keep up with the Jones and keep up with the times. You know what I mean? To be able to understand, this new wave of slang that's going on. So I try to keep up. It took me a while to figure it out. But the minute I watched the video, the minute the general came out with his video, I was able to put them acronyms together. But yeah, let's. If we have any questions in the class, let's get them questions right away. You know what I mean? It's very important when you do attend class, whether it's online, to bring all the questions, because in these last 4 months, Satan has been going harder than ever. And I want to pull up a scripture real quick to let you know why the things that are going on in the world today are accelerating. I heard another brother got shot from the back trying to walk into his car, and another devil pulled him. I'm going to let the general speak on this, but I was just, I get these insights as they come in. And then, people feel obliged to show an officer in the UPK the current affairs, because we're the only ones that truly care about our people. And what do I mean by that? Right? We're the ones that are consistent with, when it comes to the affairs of our people, we're the ones that are consistently working to raise the dead, consistently working to gather ourselves together, and more specifically under Commander General Yohana, who was appointed by the Most High through Christ to lead our people, right? Who is probably the most humble cat you ever met in your life. I mean, I've never met any person more humble than Commander General Yohana, right? I've never met him until I met Commander General Yohana, and I said, truly, there is a man out there that truly serves the Lord. Truly, there is a man out there that is better than my funky behind. You hear what I'm saying? Well, let's pull up a scripture real quick. But we're gonna get into the book of Tobit. I think it's an excellent book, especially if you're dealing with your rib or a woman that is rebellious, right? Just to stick to the topic, let me pull this up. If you have any questions, ask your questions. Don't be shook, man. You know what I mean? We don't require you to sing and dance, but at least come to class with some questions, right? We don't require you to come to the UPK or come to our classes with a tambourine and perform American Idol up in here. We don't require that. But at least come here, come prepared, come with your notes. You know what I mean? I know so many questions have been administered in your mind throughout the week. And well, let me pull this real quick, all right? Let's go to Salakia. I want to pull this up real quick before we get started. If there's any questions, ask your questions. Do not hesitate. Do not let Satan boggle your mind to say you know the truth, you got the truth, and you don't need to continue to learn. We all need to continue to learn. Everyone under Commander General Yohana should be in a continual learning vibe. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's go to Salakia. I want to pull this up real quick before I get started. Let's go to Salakia. Bear with me. I'm going to pull this up real quick. Bear with me, y'all. All right. And if you have any questions, we'll give you another minute, and then we're going to get started. Let's go to Revelation 12, verse 12. All right? Revelation 12, verse 12. I'm going to put down my digital sword. We're going to put, we're going to do it the old school way. All right? Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. It says this. Read on if you can. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe meaning destruction. Right? That's what woe means. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth he hath but a short time. Let me tell you something, right? Our oppressor knows that he doesn't have too much time before Christ comes back. The one thing that you have to mark when it comes to our oppressor is that he knows these dark sayings. It talks about the Romans knowing these dark sayings. And in the 70s, during the time of Ronald Reagan addressed the world and told the world leaders that we have to put our differences aside and prepare to fight a foreign enemy. And I'm paraphrasing. But what Ronald Reagan was indicating, which the powers that be understand and know, is that there is going to be a foreign enemy that's coming and will bring destruction on the planet and will bring woes on the planet, which is why the U.S. and the world leaders and these other nations, they've spent millions and billions actually of dollars in their spacecraft programs and their NASA programs. They spent all this money. And now more than ever, while they're preparing to fight our king, what we have to understand is that they know and understand they have but a little bit of time left, right? Meaning America's going to fall, and as you can see, it's already imploding, right? But with that said, they're going to use whatever it takes to distract us, to keep our minds from the affairs, from black affairs, to keep our mind from what's really going on, to keep us in a daze and confused. They're using high level of sorcery to make our brothers lustful and our sisters whores in the land of our captivity. And so we really have to be mindful that videos like WAP are going to do a disservice for our brothers, and it's going to do a disservice for our sisters as well, right? I was talking to a brother in the world today, and as I'm talking to the brother, we was talking about marriage. And, you know, through much conversations that we've had, you know, at time and time, you'll talk to, you know, if you're a brother in the UPK, you'll talk to brothers in the world that you grew up with who will have a slight inclination of a light that they see in you, right? And they'll want to ask you questions from time to time. So this brother, he calls quite frequent to ask questions. He's not ready to pick up his sword or shut up and boot up. He's not ready for that. But he knows that, you know, the men in the UPK are well versed in the Bible. And a lot of times people will call us, right? Because who better to ask? It's like, you know, it's like if I play in the NBA and you play high school basketball, who is better to ask on advice on playing basketball? You're going to go to the guy that's in the NBA, the guy that's done his time, right? That's who you're really going to go to. But I know I'm having connection issues. I see it now. But I'm hoping that the Most High can keep this transmission going. So this brother called and he was talking about marriage. And the idea of marriage is a Greek philosophy in America, right? It's a Greco-Roman Greek philosophy in America where a marriage is not official unless both parties sign a contract. And what that contract does is it makes it now a business arrangement. It's no longer about the love that's been flourishing for years since you've been tying fire on that woman's behind since you first met her. That, in America's eyes, is not marriage. That is more like, in the eyes of Americans, in the eyes of the world, people in the world, that's more like hooking up. The whole term boyfriend and girlfriend always threw me off, right? So, you're my boyfriend or you're my girlfriend, but you're not my wife. But we're doing the same thing and behaving the same way a husband and wife would behave, but I can't give you that title, husband, wife. I have to call you boyfriend, I have to call you girlfriend. Now that's confusion. And you're telling me a piece of paper determines whether this woman is yours or not. Which is why They come up in the UPK when we destroyed the false information that Christ did not have a father, right? That Mary and Christ did not have sex to have Christ. I mean, Slaki, Mary and Joseph did not have sex to have Christ, right? And so what we have to understand is that when we go into this book today, we will start to see the custom of marriage. We'll also find out why it's important to honor your father as a woman, to not shame yourself. And when you look at Cardi B, and you look at Megan Thee Stallion, this is our fault, the leadership of Israel, the men in Israel. You know why it's our fault? Because we have turned our daughters into whores in the land of captivity. Now, I'm not saying they're whores, but you can clearly see that is a sign of soft porn, right? That right there, the message that's being put out is teaching our daughters and our sisters that they don't need to be able to cook and clean and to be able to do certain marriage, perform certain marriage duties to be able to get a ring on their finger. That they can hustle their way to get that ring without having to do anything, right? And it puts it's the mentality of a prostitute. It's the mentality of a promiscuous woman that is hustling to get a ring on her finger. But with that said, most women that do that, it's motivated by money. It's motivated by their parents or their mother that has instilled in them that they should not be with a man that's not financially well off, that is not going to provide the means that they need to live a good life. Oh, okay, Erskine, let me read what you just said. Erskine Littleton, I'm going to start reading these things in the chat because I appreciate the input. Erskine Littleton says, Salaki, it's like negotiating a business deal to go get a marriage license and saying vows at a church with friends and family, being the witnesses to seal the contract. Now that's absolutely right, and this is what I was talking about with a friend of mine today, who was trying to school his woman like, yo, it's basically a photo shoot, right? Like, we can go and get the marriage license, and perform and say, okay, now we're husband and wife. But he was trying to explain to me that I've been with this woman for who knows how long, and she already got 3 kids, right? So, not to put the brother's business on blast. Oh, that's a funny one. When the pastor asked anyone that these two people be married, let me tell you something, right? The people that go to your marriage, most of those people do not like you anyways. All right, I'm gonna tell you that right now. They go to the marriage with the perception that you guys are going to be divorced. I like to see. Well, a lot of times, I'm a Levite, so a lot of times them Levites, they go there for the food. Listen, people go to the marriage, right? They go to the wedding to flex their outfit. It's like, damn, I've been waiting to wear this outfit for quite some time. Now's the perfect time. They know that you two are fronting when you're standing in front of that pastor saying, mwah, mwah, kissing each other and giving your vows. They know y'all are fronting. Her friends know that she had sex with Tommy a week before during the bachelorette party, right? And your friends know that you couldn't keep a woman if your life depended on it. Meaning, a lot of men need more than one woman, right? the idea of saying I'm going to stick with one woman when you've slept with every goddamn woman on the planet, you're only fooling yourself, right? So now, what does the UPK teach? We teach that sex is marriage. Now, that's a hard thing to swallow, right? It's a hard thing to swallow that sex, the act of sex, is the consummation of marriage. And this is why we're going to read the book of Tobit today, right? Because in the book of Tobit, there's ways to conquer the demons that are in your woman, right? Your woman has had a demon on her. Let me see what you said. Yeah, that's why this is. Let me tell you something, Erskine Littleton. That's why I go too. I go for the same reason. Listen, you got a wedding? I'm more interested in knowing what's on the menu. And the bridesmaids. And the things that walk up in there. Right? But, yeah, so the book of Tobit will teach you about your woman in a major way. Your woman has constantly been going through a high level of sorcery through our oppressor's philosophies, through his media, through shows like Basketball Wives, and she's constantly going under a high level of sorcery. And it started off with a damn mama. That's really where it started off with. Her mother has been pumping her mind since she was young. And I want to say around the age of 12, 13, that demon that's been with her since then is the one you're fighting in the house. You think, listen, the whole time you thought you was fighting your woman, right? You couldn't understand why this woman is so crazy and why this woman is out to, it almost seems like she's out to get you. You know what I used to call my rib? My former rib, who had this demon, right? I used to ask her, I used to say, this is before I came into truth. I used to say, yo, who sent you? You know what I mean? Like, one day, you know, to talk to your woman, right? And she starts acting up, just cut her off and just ask her a quick question and just say, yo, who sent you? Right? Who sent you to come here and try to destroy me? Right? You should ask your woman that. Who sent you? Because at the end of the day, you think you're fighting your woman. Really, you're fighting the thing in your woman that loves her to death and has been with her longer than yo stinking behind. Right? That's been with her longer than you, that knows her very well, that knows what to whisper in her ears, and is very jealous and does not want to see another man coming in the house taking his woman, telling his woman what to do. That's the demon that's in your woman today, that when we read the book of Tobit today, hopefully you'll know how to battle this demon. This demon has set about to get you locked up. This demon has set about to destroy you, right? You ever meet brothers, right? Before they even got with that woman, that brother was doing A-OK, right? In a worldly stance, he was doing A-OK. He was 100 with everything. Business was right, finances was right, had his own place, his own car. He was doing good, living that bachelor life, you know, typical sinner in the world or whatever, but living that bachelor life until he met Delilah. Until he met that woman who had a legion of demons. And when I say legion, I'm telling you, some of these women have a legion of demons. Let me school something. Let me school you on something, right? You might think your woman only had one or two partners. You really have to snap yourself out of the reality, snap yourself back into reality, and understand that your woman might have had 50 to 100 partners. Right? And those men that she's had sex with since she was 12, I gotta go young because they get younger and younger. Since she was 12, the demons that latched on to those brothers that she had sex with has latched on to that woman. That's why a woman has to be very careful who she opens up her legs to. Really, the best person to decide who's the best man for you is your father. If he's a little bit competent and knows, if he came up with the upbringing of the scriptures, he would definitely know the right man for your daughter. And really, it's a man in the UPK. A man in the UPK is the right man for your daughter. Now, if you're dealing in a worldly sense, and you're dealing with a brother in the world, then, I mean, carnally, he's going to try to discern if this brother is right for his princess, right? And so that was our custom, to always go to the father to get a wife that you desired. That was always our custom. But I'm not going to spend too much time because I know that I'm long-winded. And I got to check myself on that. Every once in a while, y'all should just shoot a text and say, hey, move on. You know what I mean? But let's get to the book of Tobit. If you got a Bible, we use the King James Version in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We've dissected the King James Version to be able to correlate it with the Torah and with the Dead Sea Scrolls and the original manuscripts that were, so we're able to understand that this is the most accurate translation of the Bible, and this is what we use. If you don't like it, kick rocks. All right? But with that said, let's get to the book of Tobit. I know my internet is acting a fool right now. Right? But hopefully it kicks back in. Hopefully it kicks back in. I know it's... Alright, so we're going to start at chapter 1 in the book of Tobit. Alright? This is an excellent book if you want to understand what it takes to get a wife and what it takes to heal your woman, right? Understand, like, you over here mad at her, not knowing the demon that's propelling her to be wicked, right? To be evil and to treat you in a manner of evil, right? That's what you got to understand. But Salaka, let me get to this. I'm over here. Let's get to the book of Tobit. Let me find it real quick. Okay, so the book of Tobit. We're
Sorry, something's not right. Wait a few minutes and try setting up again.
Okay.
You can also try unplugging your device and plugging it back in.
All right. Google felt like, she wanted to say something, but let's get to the book of Tobit. So the book of Tobit, chapter 1, right? Let's read. I'm going to pull out my Zondervan because there's a couple of figures I want to pull up. So the book of Tobit. Tobit was from the tribe of Naphtali, right? And he was an upright man, right? Considering that his fathers worshipped Baal, right? What they called the heifer Baal. The tribe of Naphtali is from Argentina to Chile. So Tobit would have been one of them brothers between Argentina and Chile. And this is around the time of the Assyrian captivity, right? And during that time, the children of Israel got carried away into captivity because of the evils that they were doing in the land. So the Lord carried them away into captivity. But let's read, all right? Book of Tobit, chapter 1. The book of the words of Tobit, son of Tobiel, son of Ananiel, the son of Eduel, the son of Gabael, of the seed of Asael, of the tribe of Naphtali, right? who in the time of Enemessar, king of the Assyrians, was led captive out of Thisbe, which is at the right hand of that city, which is called properly Naphtali in Galilee above Asher. Right? Let me see if I can find this king's name. His name was Enemessar, king of the Assyrians. When you study the Assyrian captivity, you'll realize that the children of Israel were under that captivity prior to the northern kingdom ending up in the western part of the world, which is South America, North America, Canada. And with that said, this is when they had left the Assyrian captivity. I can't remember the timeline, how long they were there, but they had left the Assyrian captivity, which is where you get the Inca tribes, where you get the Native Indians, where you get the our Ephraimite brothers, and so on, right? Well, let me see if it's in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Enemessar, he was the first king of several kings during the time of Tobit. His sons succeeded him. I believe there was a coup between family members. But let me see if I can find it. If it's not here, we'll move on. Enemessar. All right, we're going to move on because I'm not going to waste too much time for lack of time. But let's keep reading. I, Tobit, have walked all the days of my life in the way of truth and justice. And this is how we walk today in the UPK. We walk in the way of truth and justice. See, the problem is that what is keeping Christians chained up and brothers in the world chained up is the fact that they don't have the truth. And they're going to use videos like WAP to keep your mind constantly thinking about lust, constantly thinking about promiscuity, right? Or concupiscence, right? That's what they want you to do. Notice how they don't do that with any other genre. But when it comes to hip hop, our women have to be naked. They have to be desirable through their nakedness, right? And it traps our brothers. And our brothers will take our sisters and will abuse our sisters and throw them away. It's not going to do any benefit for our sisters for you to dress scandalous, for you to dress whorish, for you to have the demeanor of a whore or a haughty look, a real prideful look, right? Which is what a woman that's shameless does, right? The Bible says a woman that is shameless shall be counted as a dog. You got the so 727 to 722 BC. This was Enemessar, right? I'm trying to figure out what his other name was. I know there was another name for Enemessar, but then the water for the timeline. Maybe I can get his other name, Enemessar, right? I want to give accurate history. So the name Enemessar meaning uncertain. I think it's Shalmaneser, but in the book of Tobit, it's translated as Enemessar. So Shalmaneser, let me pull this guy up real quick. All right, Shalmaneser. Let's get him real quick. I knew his name was certain names in the Apocrypha are different in different places in the Bible. Shalmaneser. Okay, so Shalmaneser, right? In the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. That's what we're reading right here. Here's Shalmaneser. It says, Shalmaneser, the title of 5 Assyrian kings, only one of whom is directly mentioned in the Old Testament. Yep, that's what I remember it from. Another one is important because it refers to an Israelitish king. Shalmaneser the third. I want to put your timelines. Shalmaneser the fifth, the son of Tiglath-Pileser, who died in 727 BC. The only Syrian king named Shalmaneser in the Old Testament history. There are two references of him. 2 Kings 17, 3 through 5, which in 2 Kings, this is when the children of Israel went into the Assyrian captivity, right? So if you look in the Old Testament, you look up Shalmaneser, right? You'll understand what happened to the northern kingdom and how they went into captivity. Shalmaneser received tribute from Hoshea, the last king of the northern kingdom. Then, after Hoshea had formed an alliance with So, king of Egypt, Shalmaneser, returning to Palestine in a more extensive campaign, imprisoned Hoshea and besieged Samaria for 3 years. The prophet Hosea, a contemporary of Hosea's turbulent reign, often speaks out against the entanglements with the Assyria or Egypt, right? But that's just a little synopsis of who Almaneser or Emaneser in the book of Tobit is. But let's keep reading. So we know that Tobit walked in the way of truth and justice. It's all about justice. A person that got a spirit of the Lord, he has to understand that this is all about justice. It's all about the crimes that have been committed against our people. And you, if you truly have the spirit of the Lord, you're going to want justice for the crimes that have been committed against your people. You're not going to want their 40 acres and a mule. You're not going to want their, what do they call, reparations. The reparations that you want is justice. You want them to pay for the crimes that they've committed, to pay back what they've stolen. And just like we were in captivity under them, well, it's only right, justifiably, that they're in captivity under us. But let's keep reading. And I did many alms deeds to my brethren in my nation who came with me to Nineveh, unto the land of the Assyrians. And when I was in my own country, in the land of Israel, being but young, all the tribe of Naphtali my father fell from the house of Jerusalem, which was chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, that all the tribes of Israel should sacrifice there, where the temple of habitation of the Most High was consecrated and built for all ages. So he's going to start to explain how his father's house decided to worship Baal, which is who the Christian church worships today. The Christian church worships Baal, right? Who was the, I want to say he was the agriculture god around that time. You know, agriculture and seasons and the signs of the suns and the moons and the stars is what our people worshipped. Baal was one of the big ones that Israel worshipped, and his father's house worshipped Baal. But let's keep reading. Now all the tribes were together revolted in the house of my father Naphtali, sacrificed unto the heifer Baal, right? And then as he goes further down, he explains how he kept the laws of Moses and how he kept the laws of the Most High and the statutes and commandments, and how he kept the high holy days while his father's house was worshiping Baal. Let's jump to verse 9. It says, Tobit chapter 1 verse 9. Furthermore, when I was come to the age of a man, I married Anna of my own kindred. Notice how he said of my own kindred, because it was against the laws of the Most High to marry someone outside of your nation. That wasn't your brother or sister. It was against the laws of the Most High. It was a sin to do that. And Tobias and Tobit is telling you that he married Anna of my own kindred, and I begot Tobias, right? Tobias plays a key role in this whole story, right? Now, let's keep reading. And when we were carried away captive to Nineveh, all my brethren and those that were of my kindred did eat of the bread of the Gentiles. So, when they got carried away, he's saying his brethren forsake the laws of the Most High. and they partook in what the Gentiles were doing, from their customs to the food that they ate. But he says right here in verse 11, but I kept myself from eating because I remembered the Most High with all my heart. And the Most High gave me grace and favor before Enemessar, so that I was his purveyor. Here's what else the Bible says. It says, when a man's ways please the Lord, even his enemies will be at peace with him. Remember that, right? So your ways should please the Lord for your enemies to be at peace with you, right? The same thing happened with, give me a sec. The same thing happened with, what's his name, when he had to rebuild the temple. Let me see. When he had to rebuild the temple, his name, I'm just trying to think off the top. Let me see if I can figure out his name. I think it's in the book of, I forget his name. Let me, hold on, let me pull it up. I want to make sure this is accurate. Let me see. Yeah, you'll find it in the book of Ezra, right? When he received favor from the king, and he was allowed to go and rebuild the temple, in the book of Ezra. But let's keep reading. Let's jump to verse 17. It says this. Verse 16, and in the time of Enemessar I gave many alms to my brethren, and I gave my bread to the hungry, and my clothes to the naked. And if I saw any of my nation dead, or cast about the walls of Nineveh, I buried him. So now here's what was going on at this time. During the time of this King Enemessar, right, our brothers were getting slaughtered in the streets, and they weren't allowed to remove the body or bury the body. But we have a custom of doing this, right? Where if we see the dead body of our brother, right? Joseph in Egypt as well, that's accurate too. Joseph in Egypt did receive favor as well. But if we see the dead body of our brother, our custom was to bury that brother. Give that brother an honorable burial, right? That was our custom, right? And if the lies that they portrayed about Juneteenth, when in reality, our soldiers were the ones, the soldiers that starved them to death. And our soldiers were the ones to go and give them a proper burial. We were known for this. And so Tobit, who being a just man, seeing dead bodies in the streets, buried those bodies and got jammed up for that, got in trouble for that, right? Verse 18, and when King Sennacherib had slain any, when he was come and fled from Judea, I buried them privily. For in his wrath he killed many, but the bodies were not found, and they were sought for of the king. So King Sennacherib, he succeeded King Enemessar in Assyria, and he was killing Israelites like flies, left and right. And he was expecting to see the bodies in the streets. So what Tobit, being a just man, would do is he would bury those bodies privily, right? So those bodies would not be dishonored in the middle of the street somewhere, so that they would receive proper burial. But let's jump to we're going to jump to Tobit chapter 6, chapter 2, verse 6. It says, now when I was, actually, let's jump to verse 6. Let me see if I can find it. So in chapter 2, it talks about Tobit keeping some of the feast days of the Lord, which was required of us to do from generation to generation, right? But then he said this, but he came again and said, in verse 3, he says, but he came again and said, Father, one of our nation is strangled and cast out in the marketplace. So his father was, was telling, Tobit was telling his son, Tobias, during the day of Pentecost, or the Feast of Pentecost, to go out there and get one of the poor brothers, a just brother, to come in and tarry with us, right? To come and lodge with us and eat with us. And he said, Father, one of our nation is strangled and cast out in the marketplace. Then before I had tasted of my meat, I started up and took him up into the room until the going down of the sun. Let me tell you something. The Lord talks about not giving anyone that comes to your crib Godspeed, right? But if you see a righteous brother, a brother that is just before the Lord, and you take him into your house, which is a wise thing to do, right? You ought to care for that brother, right? And Tobit was heavy in heart seeing this brother all mangled up and took him in, right? This is the kind of brother he was, right? And here's what Tobit said. He remembered a specific prophecy that Amos came up with, because during the time of the Assyrian captivity, Israel went through hell under these goddamn kings of Assyria. You know what I mean? They were slaying Israelites left and right, and bodies were just being left on the streets. You know what I mean? Like, you got to understand, we've suffered through every captivity, right? And the worst captivity of them all is our captivity out in Babylon, the daughter of Babylon today, America, right? But our northern kingdom brothers, our brothers in the northern kingdom, our Gadite brothers, our Ephraimite brothers, our Simeonite brothers, right? Our Naphtalians, they went through hell under the Assyrians, right? And here's what Tobit said. He remembered a prophecy of Amos. It says, remembering the prophecy of Amos, this is Tobit, chapter 2, verse 6. He said, remembering the prophecy of Amos, as he said, your feast shall be turned into mourning, and all your mirth into lamentation. Right? When we should be celebratory and enjoying our feast, it's turned into mourning, right? When one of our brothers died, when our brothers are constantly getting killed by our enemies, and our mirth, when we should be laughing and enjoying each other and enjoying life, it's turned into mourning. It's turned into cries. This is what he's bringing up, and this is the spirit of Christ right here that Tobit had. Tobit cared for his brothers. He cared for the well-being of his brothers being slaughtered. It hurt him. He mourned, right? To the point where he couldn't just see their bodies being stunk up in the middle of the street with flies all over. He couldn't take that. Not the kind of spirit this brother had on him. He had to go properly bury those bodies. And keep that in mind, the kind of brother Tobit was and the kind of brother you should be. When one of our brothers get killed, we got to give that brother proper burial. We got to make sure that we walk in truth and in justice. You know what I mean? But let me move on real quick for sake of time. But I wanted to bring that up to show you the hell that we went through under the Assyrians, right? Let's go to chapter 3, verse 8, right? So in the beginning of chapter 3, Tobit is praying to the Most High, right? And Raguel had a daughter. He met a guy. He had a family member by the name of Ragu who had a daughter, right? And we'll get into the story a little bit more as we go further on. But this daughter had a hard time getting a husband because of a demon that she had on her that kept strangling each and every husband that she was supposed to be promised to, right? But let's keep reading. All right. Let's start at verse. Let's see. Let's start at Tobit chapter 3, verse 8. Actually, let's start at verse 7. It came to pass the same day that in Ecbatan, a city of Media, Sarah, the daughter of Raguel, was also reproached by her father's maids. So her father's maids used to make fun of this woman Sarah because of all the men she's killed who were supposed to be espoused to her, who were supposed to be married to her, right? And you know, women can be cruel in that sense, and women will find any opportunity to put you down, to big themselves up, to make themselves feel better by ridiculing you, putting you down, right? They're very competitive in that sense. Verse 8, because that she had been married to 7 husbands, whom Asmodeus, the evil spirit, had killed. And this is what we were talking about earlier, is that this woman had a powerful demon on her, a very violent demon on her. You wonder why when your woman punches you in your mouth, you wonder where that came from. Because your woman has the demon of Asmodeus on her that can become very violent. You wonder, you don't even know how to restrain your woman. You try to hold on to her like, hold up now. You trying to hold on to her because you know the minute you let her go, you are going to get wailed on. And that's a demon on that woman that feels like she has to put her hands on you. She has to harm you, right? And this is the same demon that this woman had here. A demon by the name of Asmodeus. And it says this, whom Asmodeus, the evil spirit, had killed before they had lined with her, right? So before they even had sex, this woman would come on top of them and would strangle the hell out of those men and kill those men, to the point where the father had already built 7 graves already. But I want to pull a quick precept on this one real quick. But let me pull this up real quick. Let's go to it says this in Proverbs chapter 7 verse 26. It says, for she had cast down many wounded, yeah, many strong men have been slain by her. Let me tell you something, right? There's an uproar on this WAP video, right? Couples are having debates, a hot topic this last week and a half. And what you got to understand is that there's some woman out there that if you get with that woman, she is going to hurt you. It says this, I'm going to read Proverbs, again, chapter 7, verse 26. Let's start at verse 25. It says, let not thy heart decline to her ways. Go not astray in her paths. There's certain women that you have to watch out for. If you go down their path, you go down that alley, that woman gonna grab you up. She's going to engulf you in her perfume and her smell and her in them big tweedy eyelashes. You know what I mean? You sewn up, right? But what you'll have to understand is that this woman has destroyed many men. The woman that you have right now, You're just the next victim of who she's going to destroy, as she's destroyed many other men before her, as she's cast down many wounded, as the Bible says. Let's keep reading. Proverbs chapter 7, verse 26. Yeah, many strong men have been slain by her. A lot of men that claim to be lions and claims to be strong have been destroyed by this woman right here. And you're going to meet this woman. You're going to come across this woman. The Lord is going to give you the woman that's just right for you. Right? Yeah, I mean, you want to take women and you want to throw them away. Well, you're going to come across your Delilah one day. You're going to come across a woman that you are going to have a hard time letting go. She is going to put a level of witchcraft on you that you are going to be binded as a strong man. You're going to be bound in her fetters and chains. But let's keep reading. It says this. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. Some women will absolutely destroy you. They will get you locked up. They will destroy your career. They will destroy your whole existence will be destroyed. Because some women have this demon called Asmodeus in them that's been with them since they were goddamn 13 years old. Right? It's been with them since they were a child, probably. And this demon loves her. This demon does not want to see her with you. Right? But let's keep reading. Because she had been married to 7 husbands, whom Asmodeus, the evil spirit, had killed. It didn't say that she killed it. It said who Asmodeus, right? That evil spirit had killed. She was not behind the driver's seat when she killed those brothers that were trying to marry her. It was Asmodeus, it says, the evil spirit had killed before they had lined with her, right? Does that now know, said they, that thou hast strangled thine husbands? Now these are her father's maids that are making fun of her, right? Thou hast already had 7 husbands, neither was thou named after any of them, right? Meaning you had 7 men that you were espoused to be married to, and you have received none of their names because you killed them. So this is just women picking on each other. This is normal, right? To the point where they picked on her so much that she wanted to commit suicide. That's how bad they were picking on her. And a lot of women wonder why they're lonely today. A lot of women wonder why they have relationship problems, right? Why they can't find a man that's compatible with them, right? You got that. The reason why you can't find it is because Asmodeus is hindering you from your love life. That Wat demon is hindering you from you finding a man, right? You are not the best. You do not make the best choices when it comes to picking a man. That's one thing. You open up your legs to anyone that feeds you, that pumps your mind and calls you queen, and puts a little bit of Jason's lyric in your thick skull, to the point where you're willing to just open up your legs to any lie that a man tells you, right? But let's keep reading. Wherefore dost thou beat us for them? If they be dead, go thy ways after them. Never let us never see of thee neither son or daughter. Right? So now they're making fun of her to the point where she's attacking these women. Right? She's getting physical with these women because of how much torment they're putting her through. When she heard these things, she was very sorrowful, that she thought to have strangled herself, and said, I am the only daughter of my father, and if I do this, this shall be a reproach unto him, and I shall bring his old age with sorrow unto the grave. There was a time when a woman cared about what her father thought, right? If you truly loved your father, you would not shame him. you would think about his take and his feelings on what kind of man you should be with, right? He should be able to choose the man for you, right? But that's not the case in the land of our captivity today, right? That is not the case. And so this demon drove her to the point where she wanted to commit suicide, and this is the demon's whole purpose. His whole mission is to destroy you and to kill you, right? But first, he has to have a little bit of fun with you, right? Let's jump to verse 15. Tobit chapter 3, verse 15. And I never polluted my name, nor the name of my father in the land of my captivity. And when you watch this WAP video, these women are polluting their names, right? They're polluting their reputation and their father's reputation. They're shaming their father's house. This woman was at least considerate of what would happen if she had committed suicide. How it would shame her father. How it would pollute the name of her father. She said, I am the only daughter of my father. Neither had he any child to be his heir, neither any kinsman, nor any son of his alive. Right? So now, imagine, right? Tobit is praying, and at the same time, Sarah, this woman, is praying, right? They've reached out to the Most High, and the Most High is going to send an angel, right? Let's read Tobit chapter 3, verse 16. So the prayers of them both were heard before the majesty of the great power. And Raphael was sent to heal them both. So this angel was sent to heal both Tobit on this side and to heal both Sarah on this side. Keep in mind, Tobit, as he was burying the bodies one day, some sparrows basically dumped on his eyes, and he became blind from that. And so Tobit had prayed to the Most High about this issue with his eyes, and in the same instance that he was doing that, Sarah prayed to the Most High to be delivered from this demon that was strangling. And so Raphael was put to the task to go and answer the prayers of these two individuals. All right? Let's keep reading. Verse 17. And Raphael was sent to heal them both, that is to scale away the whiteness of Tobit's eyes, and to give Sarah, the daughter of Raguel, for a wife to Tobias, the son of Tobit, and to bind Asmodeus, the evil spirit, because she belonged to Tobias by right of inheritance. Now notice how he said how Raphael was going to bind Asmodeus, the evil spirit. And this is what, under command of General Yohanan, this is what the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, this is what we do. We bind that wicked spirit that's inside the women that come into the school, right? And that's exactly what we do, right? Through the power of the Most High in Christ, right? Because she belonged to Tobias by right of inheritance. So basically what it's saying is that this brother was the brother for this woman, right? A lot of times you gotta understand, right? Let me read something real quick. It says this, right? Now keep in mind, Sarah, she was not a wicked woman, right? But she had a hell of a demon on her that was violent and was strangling her husband, right? But here's what it says, right? In Ecclesiasticus chapter 25, verse 19, it says this: all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Right? That's what it says. Right? Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Let me tell you something. The reward for a sinner, if they're looking for a woman, is going to be a wicked woman. The Lord is not going to send you a righteous woman while you're being wicked. He's going to send you the perfect woman for you. The woman that you're with right now is the woman you were supposed to be with. The woman that threw you in jail, the woman that keyed your car, that's your portion from the Most High. Right? That's who the Most High gave you. Right? So, you know what I mean? And that's why it says this, right? There's no greater wickedness, it's saying, than the wickedness of a woman, right? He said, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. One of the worst things you could come across is a wicked woman. And if you're a sinner, your portion is a wicked woman. And a wicked woman is what you'll receive. Right? But let's keep reading. I wanted to read that real quick. Let's jump to Tobias chapter 4, verse 12. Right? So in this next chapter, right? Tobit wants his son to go out there and find a woman of his kindred. Right? Let's read verse 12. It says this. Beware of all the whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. And this is very specific why the Lord requires you to find a woman of your tribe, of your kindred, of your people. Right? And so Tobit is giving his son wise words that he will need, right? Wise words that he can carry with him. And he sends him on his journey. And before he sends him on this journey, what you got to understand is that he needs his son to understand a few principal things, right? Let's keep reading, right? In verse 13 it says, Tobit chapter 4 verse 13. Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren, right? That's the first thing he says. Love thy brethren, which is the second commandment that the Lord gave us. Love thy neighbor as thyself, right? And despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them. Let me tell you something. If you take a wife that is outside of your nation, you hate your brothers. You hate your sister. If you decided to choose Becky over LaQuisha, you hate your sisters. And this is what he's saying. He's saying, despise not thy brethren. Don't despise these sisters, man. Don't take these sisters and take them for granted and thinking that, you know, the minute they open their legs, after you get your quick nut, you can just run off. Now, don't do that. Don't prefer a heathen over your sister, right? Are you telling me, can we get an honest opinion? Yeah, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. I said that. Sarah was not named after any of her 7 husbands. You're absolutely right, Erskine. She wasn't named after any of her 7 husbands because she didn't have sex with them. Before, it says this, before she lied down with them, she done strangled them. So it also shows that the marriage was not consummated yet because they didn't have sex, right? She was espoused to them, right? But give me your honest opinion. You gonna tell me that we don't have the baddest women on the planet? Yeah, I don't know, but the last time I went out, in the midst of black and Hispanic women, It was jaw dropping to me, right? It was jaw dropping, and I compared that to Becky and Su Young. Oh my God, it's like night and day. I mean, I felt like I wanted to vomit, right? But here's what I need. Here's the key scripture that I wanted to pull out in regards to this wop wop. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. In regards to that, right? Here's the key scripture I wanted to pull out in verse 13, chapter 4, verse 13. Now, therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of the people, and not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction, and much trouble. And read what it says here. And in lewdness is decay and great want. For the lewdness is the mother of famine. Now, why did he say lewdness is the mother of famine? I want a scripture. First, let's get what lewdness is, right? We only got about 10 minutes. I never have enough time, man. I gotta start doing 3-hour classes. I never have enough time, but let's pull up the word lewdness, right? Let's go to the Merriam-Webster dictionary. We're gonna pull up the word. The prefix to the word, I believe, is lewd, right? Let's get it real quick. It said, so lewd, right? Lewd, we're going to use definition B, right? It says sexually unchaste or licentious, Salaki. Sexually unchaste, meaning you have basically to have a licentious behavior or to be sexually unchaste, meaning you don't have any restraints, right? You don't have to be lewd is another word of being evil and wicked. But when it comes to sexuality, you don't have any constraints. You'll sleep with a dog. You don't have any restraints. You'll sleep with a Chinese woman. You'll sleep with an Arab woman. There's no restraints. And he's saying lewdness is the mother of famine. Meaning this, because of your lust, you end up broke, right? Women can bring a man into poverty. If anybody knows the precept to that, where a woman can bring a man into poverty, please pull that up. A precept to where a woman can bring a man into poverty, right? I'll give it about 2 seconds before I pull it up on you. Let's see how fast y'all can move on this one. I'll be surprised if anyone can get this. I'll give it another second. Give me a precept where a woman can cause a brother to become poor. Give it another sec. Let me know if you got that. Anybody? Let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 9, verse 2. I'm gonna pull up 2. It says in Ecclesiasticus chapter 9, verse 2, it says this. It says, I want to read this. This is actually good. It says, give not thy soul unto a woman to set her foot upon thy substance. A lot of times, women are going to try to use their allure to get your money, right? There was an interview where Cardi B talked about how she used to rob niggas in the hotel by putting things in her drink. There's a lot of women that have set up men and robbed men because they were moved by their lust, right? Let's keep reading. It says, and then it says, verse 3, meet not with a harlot, lest thou fall into her snares. There's brothers out there that only want to sleep with horse. They're only attracted to horse. That's their thing. They don't want, they don't want a sister that is not showing the allure of a whore. An upright sister, that's boring to them. They want a sister that's a whore. And a lot of that is motivated by you watching all that goddamn porn, right? The pornography industry made billions of dollars off your lust. So now when you come across a real woman, you don't know what to do with her. You don't know how to behave yourself around her. And you're goo gaga over this woman, and she gonna take all your goddamn money, right? And this is the message that that WAP video was trying to tell you, is that you gotta break bread with these women, right? In order to get that WAP, right? You gotta compromise your integrity and your honor and go sleep with a harlot, right? But let's keep reading real quick. Salakia. Let me just all right, let's go to I wanted to bring that up real quick. Let's go to chapter 5. Right? In chapter 5, Tobit sent his son to go find a man to go about with him in his travels, to go to Ragoel, because they had an agreement that they had made in Ekbatan. And so an angel of the Lord by the name of Raphael goes on this journey with Tobit and a dog, and brings a dog, right? But before they went on their journey, right? Before they went on that journey, right? Salaki, let me just I think someone answered the question. That was the second one. I only got about 10 minutes. But I think that was the second one right there. I think you said Proverbs 31:3. Yeah, that's another one. Give not thy strength unto a woman, nor thy ways to which destroyed kings. The one I wanted more specifically, that's a good one, but the one I wanted more specifically was the one that talked about you giving your substance to a woman. You know what I mean? You basically you tricking on a woman. That's why I brought the other one, but that's a good one too. Give not thy strength unto a woman, which you giving your strength unto a woman could lead to poverty. You know what I mean? But let me jump back to verse 5. So that's what's going on in chapter 5, right? Where now Tobias is going to go on this journey, and the angel of the Lord has told him to stop at Raguel's place to get him a wife by the name of Sarah. You know what I'm saying? Because the angel of the Lord had to answer Sarah's prayers. And he also had to answer Tobit's prayers in regards to him going blind from the sparrows on his eyes, creating a whiteness around his eyes. So what do? Right? A fish gall, right? For two reasons. They go and get fish gall, right? The fish gall, the intestines inside of the fish, to clear his eyes, right? Salaki. Yeah, I got this recorded. The class is freezing. The one is to clear his eyes. The other is that the fish gall was going to be used with smoke during the time where Tobias and Sarah were going to consummate the marriage. Tobias was given specific instructions to use this fish guts or the fish gall and to burn it up, and so that it could drive away Asmodeus, and so that the angel of the Lord can bind Asmodeus, right? That's where that's going right now, right? Tobit chapter 6 verse 14. Let's jump to that real quick. All right. Tobit chapter 6 verse 14. And now I'm the only son of my father. So now Tobias hears of that this woman has destroyed 7 other men before me. And so now he's worried. He's like, yo, I'm not trying to go up in this woman. I don't want to be dead. I'm my only father's son. Right? Who's going to bury my parents if I'm dead? So he's a little bit worried. And the angel of the Lord is saying, rest assured, that's going to be your wife. And he's giving him the instructions on how to drive away this demon. Let me give you something that is critical. Your woman has a demon. Now the level of demonism that this demon is, I can't say for sure. You know better than I do. But your woman for sure has a demon that could be driven out, right? And what you have to understand is that you would need clear instructions from the men of the Lord to be able to drive out that woman's demons, right? You're going to need all the help you can get when it comes to Asmodeus, because that woman is on a mission. And keep in mind, she's not behind the driver's seat. And she's going to do whatever it takes to take away your strength. Right? She's going to do whatever it takes to take away your strength. She's going to, it says this, we read earlier, that she has slain many wounded. Many wounded have been slain by her. Right? And so we have to understand that there's a blueprint to demonic warfare, especially when it comes to your woman. In the book of Tobit, the angel gave him specific instructions on how to expel this demon out of this woman, right? But let's read chapter 14, right? It says, and now I'm the chapter 6 verse 14 in the book of Tobit. And now I'm the only son of my father, and I'm afraid lest if I go in unto her, I die as the other before. For the wicked spirit loveth her. That's the key. That demon that's inside your woman, that wicked spirit loves her. And I'm talking about that wicked spirit loves her to death. You ever come home and your woman just singing, she all happy? That wicked spirit that's what's going to keep her happy. That voice she hears in her head, she's going to think it comes from God. That voice she hears in her head that told her that she needs to leave you, that she needs to put you in jail, that the number that you got on the phone, you deserve to go to jail. She's going to pop your tires. She's going to bust your lip open. She's going to crack you in the head. She's going to hit you with a bottle. That demon Asmodeus has her like that demon Asmodeus is like a puppet master, and she's on strings. And the only way you're going to be able to expel that demon is that you got to come to the men in the UPK. And here's what Paul said: if she be pleased to dwell with thee, don't leave her, right? Fight that demon. Fight it every day. Every day it's going to be a constant warfare. And don't compromise, because that demon is going to want you to compromise. He wants to take charge, which is why women feel like they wear the pants in the relationship, right? They're constantly going to try to take away your strength and belittle you and make you feel this small. You hear what I'm saying? But I think let's keep reading real quick. Let me just read the last part. Let me see if there's any more. You know what? We're going to end it right here. Let me just do this last part, verse 16. It says, and when thou shalt come into the marriage chamber, thou shalt take the ashes of perfume, and shalt lay it upon them, some of the heart and the liver of the fish, and it shall make a smoke with thee. Verse 17, and the devil shall smell it and flee away, and never come again any more. But when thou shalt come to her, rise up both of you and pray to the Most High. Now keep in mind, this demon didn't get, this woman didn't get demons from sleeping with all these men. She was still a chaste virgin, meaning she still had not had sex with any man yet, right? So we know that the demons didn't come from that form, which is a lot of times with these younger sisters at the age of 13, that's when they start having sex and them demons come in her. This was a demon that is recorded in our history to give you an example of how to deal with a woman that has this demon on her, right? But let's keep reading. But when thou shalt come to her, rise up both of you and pray to the Most High, which is merciful, which will have pity of you and save you. Fear not, for she is appointed unto thee from the beginning, and thou shalt preserve her, and she shall go with thee. So now it says that this woman was appointed unto him from the beginning. Considering she went through 7 men who were strangled by her, this was the man that she was supposed to be with. You see how the Lord works? The Lord is going to appoint you the woman that you are going to be with. Meaning, if you're a wicked brother and you're doing all manner of wickedness, well, expect to get a wicked woman. Just expect that, right? Moreover, I suppose that she shall bear thee children. Now when Tobias had heard these things, he loved her, and his heart was affectionately joined unto her. We had a different way of thinking back then when it came to a woman, right? It almost seemed like we appreciated our women more then than we do now. Now with the level of witchcraft that America has put on us, we look at our woman and as a throwaway, as of no value. And these music execs and these labels, they know that. And they push videos like WAP to build pride in a woman. And it says this, the scriptures say pride comes before destruction. And a lot of times those women end up destroying themselves by selling their bodies, right? And with that, we go into class. We have Black Watch coming on in about 10 minutes. Black Watch with Commander General Yohana coming on in about 10 minutes. Black Watch at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in, definitely with the heavy hitters. Class tomorrow, Brotherhood class tomorrow from 7 to 9 p.m. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram, Periscope, YouTube. You can also find us on Facebook. Wednesday law class, 7 to 9 p.m. as well. And with that,